All right, I'm gonna try to keep it pithy. Just watching a really great video of this guy PSA Sitch. Now he's a great guy, but he's like a lot of people. This happened on actually something I tuned into. This really cool Canadian dude, um, twins. Damn it, I cannot believe I'm forgetting his. Oh, it's getting so hard. Yeah, twins. It's just not his name's not hitting me. What he goes by now that I'm looking this up. Um, but yeah, this real nice Canadian dude. Um, okay, here's an example of it. The left doesn't know shit in the because there will be things like say the bell curve. Okay, IQ metrics for IQ. This isn't a debate. This is like people debating something about fundamental physics. This is actually the only thing we can measure. We don't even know if people are really insane when we say they're insane. We do know that we can absolutely calculate intelligence and that this could be confirmed through multiple different types of tests. You could use this test, which is really standard, and then you could do all these other tests of various factors of intelligence, and you find that they all line up. The issue really is that there's a bunch of people who absolutely have not studied this subject. They want to believe they have. They want to believe that their knowledge of biology or their knowledge of genetics it makes up for their complete lack of knowledge of the actual field of IQ testing, cognitive science, and and then just inheritance. This is one also that comes up too often. That the guy from Canada, he was being real. IQ's real. Is inheritance absolutely bound? Will two people who are really smart, will all of their children in the long run be even smarter and have great lives? No, there's nothing that says this. The wealthiest people in America change. The top 500 wealthiest people in America actually change all the time. They change ranks. Some of these people just vanish from the list entirely within 5 years, 10 years. It's almost an entirely different list. Like Thomas Sowell has really made this clear that there we just don't think of IQ. One of the big things with IQ is the likelihood that you will simply be a happier person. You'll be more polite. You'll have a higher level of empathy. The likelihood you will very likely you will not commit as violent crime. It will just simply you can't bear to hurt other people. You can understand that when you hurt people, they feel pain. That's actually empathy, and that's absolutely associated with the higher level. The higher your IQ is, the more likely you are fundamentally empathic with other people. You have a higher capacity for empathy. That you can understand vocal and you can understand nuance shown through emotion, through facial emotions. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of this stuff that, I mean, when you're smarter, you can pick this up. When you're not as smart, you don't pick this up as well. This is why a lot of people that they have such a problem with this is because there's this myth that women are smarter. So they, of course, they're more empathic, they can understand things. But really, I mean, we know that when you compare white men to white women, same education, same backgrounds, the likelihood is he will generally be smarter. That men in any ethnic group will generally be smarter than the women in that ethnic group. Um, Surveys show consistently that most of what we think about how great women are is really just mythology. No, they're not better with money. They're not generally better at there's not this braveness and boldness. They make these incredible, they do all this incredible stuff for GDP. No, the amount of money we put into women compared to what the GDP we get out is that most kind of black pilled economists now agree that no, unfortunately, even in the first world, there is a very large portion of women that are a net loss of resources because we do not insist on them getting jobs that are high GDP earning jobs. We will let them get into soft sciences. And soft sciences are just, it's just a bonfire of resources. Um, this is going to be a generation of women who will be paying off their student debts pretty much until they retire, and then they'll retire in poverty. A lot of people don't want to deal with this because it's their mama. It's their mama, it's their sister, it's their girlfriend, it's their wife, it's, and it's hard. It hurts their feelings. That's all it is. It's not that they are being logical. It hurts their feelings. Um, so one of the issues with people who tend toward the left, or they're more than willing to kind of give the left a little, like, well, I mean, now the left isn't exactly, no, no, no. The left are emotional. They're not rational. They're not cold rationalists. So it's until you look at things from cold rationality, you are always trying to assuage your discomfort with the subject. This is why people joke around when you bring up any serious topic. You can't bring up serious topics in conversations anymore in America because there's always somebody who needs to crack jokes constantly. You can never. YouTube is the only place. It's only the right, and it's on YouTube. That nobody else can have a frank conversation about anything without constantly interjecting some bullshit that has mostly to do with their feelings being hurt. Even this stuff last night, that there was some guy who he just wasn't hearing this IQ stuff, and he's, oh, if you don't have a degree in this, I just don't even want to hear it. And it's like, yeah, I doubt you know what you're talking about. You sound like you're probably under the age of 30, so you haven't worked in that field. You haven't published. You probably don't know shit. And also, it's very likely, like a lot of millennials, you've never really dealt with people who are that different than you. This is something I've noticed about a lot of millennials who tend to have they tend to favor left leaning views. Is that really, if they were to really think about it, they haven't dealt with people who are very different than them. They do like, they don't hang with the war veteran, the unpleasant war veteran. They don't do that. No, one of the things quite specifically I've noticed about millennials is they like people who they are comfortable with. The idea of uncomfortable relations, they don't do that. If you don't agree with them, they hide. And this is not just the left, this is definitely a millennial thing. And that's why we're seeing them react the way they are to all this stuff with race and challenges to the left and the mainstream media, and especially challenges to what is understood as normal knowledge, as normal epistemology. That in school, millennials love school teachers. They love that. Yeah, they're really a large portion of them. I'm thinking a lot of you who are millennials who watch this, you will notice this. There's a lot of them that want to endlessly train. They don't want to fight. They want to be in school forever because that's where they're safe. They like teacher. They like being told that they wrote a good essay. They like all that stuff. They don't like that there's no reward for real life other than living life to its fullest for the sake of doing so. Now, while I'm watching debates with some debate action going on, one of the things that I have to seriously point out is that there is no longer an issue of like the black left, or the black people telling, oh, why are white people so angry? White people do this. No, you just can't. You just don't even humor these people. They have nothing to offer. Nobody who's an average liberal, when watching Trump in the Middle East, heard a word he said. He talked about the GCC half a dozen times. Nobody on the left knows the GCC even exists. They have no idea that what's happening in Israel and Gaza is actually that the Palestinians, the Gazans, all they've been abandoned by the Sunni. Jordan, Arabia, Oman, I believe, the Emirates. I think it's those specifically, not Qatar, Bahrain, and Iran. I think are still kind of a problem, and they're helping Hezbollah, Hamas, and the PLO. Um, but the new prince is done with it. He's done. He told Palestinians, take the fucking deal, shut up and take the deal. And the king of Jordan, he has been helping. They've been, his air force is the shit, and he built a wall so that the Palestinians can't get the fuck into his country. And so people need to start getting this, that it's like, no, you have no idea what was going on over there. You don't know shit. You were told things by nonprofits and media people and school teachers, and you didn't look it up. You didn't look it up. You didn't read opposition points of view, so you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Now, there's stuff that even now, I'm more than willing all the time to learn things, because don't worry, Israel, I've always argued, Israel is a state. And they have all the designs that a state has. Territory, revenue, future fuel, all of that business in a part of the world that the lines of countries move around every generation. Every 100 years, the who holds what territory might be different in that part of the world. And a lot of people are dishonest about that too, because they won't fucking do the research and look it up. Yeah. And so once when America and its allies and stuff, when they want to redraw lines, oh no, this was humanitarian. We had to help the Albanians and the Kosovars and blah 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 blah. Oh, that had to be done. But suddenly, when Israel is actually physically being stormed at a border, stuff like that, when then it's like, oh no, you see, because the Palestinians deserve things. They deserve stuff. And no, they don't. No, actually, they don't. And this is the beauty of it, is now the left has to prove that they have to come up with some structure of ethics that the Palestinians deserve things. The left is going to have to come up with a structure of evidence, or a structure of morality or ethics that makes it such that the invasion of Europe by all these Middle Easterners, that actually turns out as a plan. It turns out this is a policy instituted by the EU for so that they could buy fuel from the Arabs. I only recently found this out. I think it was Nikki E. Is the one who sent it. You've got an interesting head on your shoulders. That coupled with what I started to find out about the original designers of the EEC and the EU, that these were all like former, people who were National Socialists, people who were going along with the Third Reich, either under the Vichy, or these were people who were working directly for the Third Reich and developing a legal structure for the command of Europe, top down. The left doesn't care. The left doesn't give a shit. And so now we don't have to act like these people know what they're talking about, because they don't. They don't have access to the White House. They don't have access to the Congress. Sorry, I know you guys have complained about that. I'll turn it off. No, you don't have. They don't have access to the Congress. They don't have access to people in the White House except for leakers, and the stuff they're being leaked has obviously been shit news, and that this shit news leaks were put out so that they could catch these people, and these people have been getting caught. The left is going to lose everything, and now the best part about it is their entire understanding of now the racial dynamics is starting to show through. How they just simply will not discuss black violence. They will not discuss that stupid people kill their neighbors. No, smart people do not think I should shoot my neighbors and take their stuff. Because this doesn't occur to smart people who are kind of center, maybe a little left, or possibly is tad bit right of center, because this doesn't occur to them. They can't actually extrapolate that there are obviously millions of black people, mostly men, who think I should kill my neighbors and take their shit. That this is obviously a relatively normal idea. Because, I mean, look at Chicago just over Memorial Day weekend. And it's just like, no, I'm sorry. You guys are going to have to start dealing with reality and what is known. And the longer it takes for you to get on board with what is known, quantitatively proven science. It's just one of these things of, and this is the beautiful part, is causation and correlation. Motherfuckers, this doesn't matter. There were 60 people, if I remember, shot over a 3-day weekend in Chicago. And I'm betting all the motherfuckers were black who did the shooting, and probably the vast majority of victims were black. Almost the entire violent crime problem in the first world are blacks and other sub-equatorial originated people. You motherfuckers are going to have to deal with this. Period. It's not a matter of you just have to, the white people have to stop saying things. They have to stop being white. No. And it's just beautiful, because what will end up happening is at some point, like Matt Iglesias from Vox, one day, it'll be one of these people get their ass handed to them. Like everybody watched on Ralph Retort, fucking Ice Poseidon get fucking checked. Asian Andy and Ice Poseidon got fucking checked by some black dudes who just suddenly got mad and were like, "You racist! You say racist stuff, blah blah blah." This is when you pull out a fucking sap and you break the guy's head open. Now, I think like this because I was raised around violent urban people. When somebody starts getting neck to neck with you, you're like, "Whoa, homie, it's cool," and then you hit him with that thing full of napkins. You bust his fucking brains open. Because it's just a matter of time. Either this guy's going to walk off, either you say, "Hey man, it's cool, I don't got a problem with you." And if he's still talking all that shit, you're probably going to have to break his fucking jaw. You're probably going to have to break his jaw and have all your friends stomp his boy, because it's going to go down like that. Either they're going to stomp you or you stomp them. And people who don't live in the real world, who don't understand, like this, why do you have a concealed carry? Concealed carry stops that right away. You go, "Do we got a problem here?" And everybody stands up and just slightly and holds onto their waistband. And everybody understands. This could either turn into a gunfight, or you could take your black ass the fuck out the door with all that stupid shit you want to say to somebody you don't know. You don't like it? You're going to have to deal with the fact that that's your fucking future. That will be looking you in the face one day, and then you're going to be sitting there going, "Damn, I wish I wasn't a scrawny soy."